March 19th, 1995 is a major moment as it's the first time you're in Madison Square Garden as a performer. You're at ringside for Jeff and Sean taking on Diesel and Razor. Do you feel the pressure, aura, and intensity of being in the Garden, even though you're in a supporting role and not wrestling? Or I think, truthfully, we may have touched on this in an earlier episode, the Garden didn't have that for you, did it?
Yeah. Well, so look, it was I'd say up until this point, either the first or second biggest building we had this match in. And this match was built for a big venue full of people because everything was big, everything was timed out with time and space, everything meant something. There was, look, it's Jeff Jarrett and Shawn Michaels versus Diesel and Scott Hall with me on the outside. Like, imagine, you know what I mean? Like it's not hard to imagine, like, holy crap, that's going to be really good. There's going to be some great spots in it. There's going to be some good heat in it where we, get some heat on Scott and he tags Big Kev. And like, it was a perfect match for a big, huge sold out venue. And I don't know that MSG was sold out, but I know on that loop you just mentioned, Toronto and MSG were really good. And reacted accordingly. You know what I mean? So again, I'm playing wrestler with my friends. I'm just doing it at Madison Square Garden. I don't realize until I start looking back, or I don't think about it a lot, until I look back, man, how blessed I was to just slide right in the industry, slide right into WWE, slide right into the main event spot with those four guys. And again, I'm not in the match, but I'm on the floor and I'm an intricate part of the match, and I have to take both finishes to leave the people happy. So I had a part. But yeah, that was such a fun match to be a part of, man, and such great guys to be a part of it with.
I feel like when you're on the outside and maybe there's one major spot you're supposed to do that would be so easy to do, and of course you're going to be in the right spot, that just the fact that it's just the one spot in that match makes there have some sort of odd, unusual pressure that's like, I'm gonna screw it up, kind of. Like, if I don't really, like, just something makes you be like, if this is really easy, but for some reason it's not.
Well, look, because it's not, and that's the deal, is if you're not where you're supposed to be when you're supposed to be there, it screws everything up. And now all the stuff we worked for and we put together and thought about and changed over different nights, and you screwed it all up. So those four guys would look you right in the eye and go, well, you screwed that one up. You know what I mean? And that's how it has to be. You're a team, right? If your outfielder drops the ball, you go, God darn, dude, catch the ball. You know what I mean? So you have to kind of do that, and it brings everybody up to that level. And then if you don't stay at that level or rise to the occasion, should the bar rise, you got left behind back in the day, man. That doesn't feel like it's the case today. But if you couldn't go and do what needed to be done, you weren't on TV. I can tell you that much.
Staying in New York, you get to be part of another big moment, Times Square, to help promote WrestleMania, and Lawrence Taylor and the WWF sets up a ring in Times Square's Canyon of Heroes. And Dogg, is the roadie, you take the last big moment when Diesel hits you with the powerbomb after Jarrett powders the ring after taunting him.
Of course I did.
What do you remember of this day in the Times Square experience?
Look, it was always cool when we did stuff like this, and because it was, to me, it was outside the norm of our wrestling world. Was we'd do stuff at time, even when they had the restaurant, and we'd do stuff there, and just anytime we did any stuff like that, it was really cool. One time me and Kid went to the MTV Music Awards in New York as a part of WWE, and so anytime we got to do extracurricular stuff like that was really cool. And it was always cool to do something set up in Times Square. You know what I mean? I don't want to move there, but it's really cool to have a ring in the middle of it and all these people around you, and Kevin Nash ends up dropping you at the very end, and that's the end of it. You know what I mean? And here we go to WrestleMania.
When you do those kinds of publicity stunts, do you feel the energy of a crowd? And I don't mean from the fan aspect, but from the what the heck is going on aspect of the people on the streets? Or in that situation, is it all fans gathering for the the press conference or publicity
Yeah,
event.
and for the most part, it was all fans. But look, you got to realize this was a little bit before the Attitude Era. But this was, this was the hottest thing they had. Kevin Nash was in there. Jeff Jarrett was in there. We're going to Mania. It was definitely the go home. And so we had fun. We blew it out. You know what I mean? Yeah, it was always cool to be a part of that extracurricular stuff. And Vince loves New York. You know what I mean? So it was always cool to do some New York kind of stuff.
From New York.